The second day session of the 2024 Nigeria Fintech Week broadened the conversation of fostering inclusive economic growth through the industry. The Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of the Nigeria Communications Commission, Dr. Aminu Maida, delivered a keynote address on the role of smart regulation in positioning Africa's fintech ecosystem.
So to better understand the role of smart regulation, it's important to highlight the core principles that underpin this approach. Number one, it's a risk-based approach. So tailoring regulatory measures to the specific risks associated with different products or services available in the market. Consumer protection, very important, especially in today's world. Safeguarding consumers must always be a top priority. Even as we encourage innovation, we must ensure that consumers are protected from harm, fraud, and exploitation. International cooperation. This is especially important for fintechs because very often when it comes to payments, we are operating cross-border, whether it's for settlement or whether it's when you consider remittance type services. So international cooperation is extremely crucial. Aligning regulations with global standards promotes a level playing field and enhances the flow of capital and talent. Collaborative processes. So effective regulation requires very efficient stakeholder engagement. So regulators must work with industry participants, consumers, and other stakeholders to ensure that regulations are practical, relevant, and widely supported.
In her presentation at the event, Mrs. Mary Kerema, Secretary ICT, Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Republic of Kenya, stressed the need for African countries to ensure that regulations and laws support digital transformation.
Policy and regulations, still we are doing something, but we are not yet there. Because you'll find that you go to institutions, you want to digitize, but you'll find that there is a regulation that tells you, the law says you have to bring a physical document. So therefore, as we digitize, we need to also make sure that our laws and regulations fit our digital transformation. Also, empowering the workforce for the future growth. I'm saying that a robust digital workforce is essential for Africa's future, driving innovation and economic resilience in today's global market. The digital workforce in Africa is rapidly evolving, presenting immense opportunities for growth and innovation across various sectors and industries. So therefore, we are saying that shaping the future of Africa's digital workforce requires multifaceted approach that addresses the current challenges and leverages on the opportunities that we've seen for the growth of our continent.
This also delved into keynotes and panel discussions on shaping the future of Africa's digital workforce, safeguarding the funding pipeline for fintechs in Africa, and dealing with fraud and cyber attacks, barriers to an expanding digital economy. It also featured masterclasses covering remote work and hybrid models, adapting talent management in the African Context Employers Forum, and enhancing your digital skills for a competitive Edge Employers Forum. Mrs. Mary Kerema, Mrs. Hawabu Wakili, Head Digital Skills and Services, Nigeria Communications Commission, and Mr. Akintunde Ajayi, Business Lead Fintech Europe, Middle East and Africa, MasterCard, speak further on enabling regulations, talent development in the industry, fraud management, and strengthening cybersecurity mechanisms.
Leveraging our global assets, some of the things that we've been able to develop and of course deploy in other parts of the world and bringing them to this part of the world have been a very great effort, and most especially in partnership with the fintechs. We've been able to collaborate with a lot of fintechs in the market to deploy what we call our contactless solution that is beyond, tapping a card on a terminal, but, building in some security features into a mobile device or into an app, that will require certain bio data activation before you're able to complete a transaction process. That's number one. We've been able to do a lot of things around AI, leveraging AI technology to bring about what we call one of our products called Brighterion, where you leverage, the artificial intelligence and the biology of our customers. For instance, if I see a transaction coming from someone like you that I know that you've not been in Australia for the past 2, 3 years, and I suddenly see a transaction coming from you, I should be able to, intelligently decide and take a position that no, this is most likely not going to be your transaction, and then put a stop, or send a notification to whoever that your providers are to let them know that, hey, this is most likely not a genuine transaction. So building some of these artificial intelligence into our services today and offering these solutions to our partners have been a greater achievement for us in the year. And besides this, we will partner with the likes of CB, to present to them some of these solutions, how they can take it to the banks, how they can take it to our fintechs, how some of these guys can be part of the ecosystem deploying this solution on the market. Yeah.
So many regulations have been put in place so far, that continues to support the fintech industry. One of it is the National Broadband Plan. That is what the industry, the telecommunications industry, uses to ensure that there is deployment of both fixed and mobile broadband. Just like I said, at the moment, the broadband penetration is at 44%, and you can also see the growth in the telecom subscription. We have over 164 million internet subscriptions in Nigeria. So that has shown a lot of growth. And then also there are other policies or other regulations that the communication sector has put in place to support the fintech industry. We have the national policy on promoting indigenous content in the telecoms industry. So that is also to ensure that we are able to empower our local talent, able to empower and support our local industries, able to empower our innovators and SMEs through R&D and also human development. So these are some of the areas. And again, some of the regulations that the Commission has, over time come up with is, one of them is the USSD pricing regulation, which has also helped in, the growth in the fintech industry. We have also done, in collaboration with the financial sector regulator, a lot of regulations and policies. One of them is the MOU that has been signed with the financial sector regulator, which is CBN, in driving payment systems. There is a technical payments, NCC, CBN Technical Payment Systems Committee that is supposed to ensure seamless DFS, seamless payment systems is in place in Nigeria. And another thing, because it has been mentioned throughout the program yesterday, issue of security, issue of cyber threats online. So at the moment, the Commission, in collaboration with CBN, also has a committee in place, committee on e-fraud, that are being perpetrated on telecoms infrastructure. So that committee is in place and is a multi-sector committee. It has also recently, we have incorporated other security agencies to join that committee to ensure that the cyberspace and all the platforms that the Nigerians use for payments is safe. And so the Commission continues to work on that and ensure that these regulations and policies are in place for the fintech ecosystem and indeed the financial sector in Nigeria to grow.
I think as Africa, as I said, we are not in competition. We can collaborate, come together, and put up policies and regulations that bring down the boundaries that we have so that we can be able to co-create, to partner, and even have solutions that cut across Africa instead of us doing solutions that are siloed in our different countries. And I think when we open the borders and have even the issues to do with trade, fintech, cross-border exchanges, then I think we will move and grow in a digitally enabled Africa instead of a digitally enabled country.
After 2 days of robust conversations on repositioning the fintech ecosystem as a catalyst for economic transformation in Nigeria and Africa, it is clear that an enabling regulatory environment with robust policies can deepen the digital economy and the globally competitive regional fintech industry.